Alan Shearer, thank you so much for joining me today. So we're here today to talk about the Athletics Emergency Football Hotline. So can you tell us a little bit more about what that is, please?
That's exactly what it is. It's a free emergency football hotline. The Athletic is launching next Monday, the 14th, at 1 p.m. I hope to be on that and take that very first call. It's open 7 days a week, 1 till 9. Sports journalists, data scientists, etc., discussing everything from human rights to refereeing decisions to rivalries to player performances, even VAR, whatever you want. They'll be there to discuss, and they'll have some of the best writers and everything else that are there to take your calls.
So looking at some of the statistics then that sort of, as a result of this hotline, of 2,000 people that were asked, 94% of people said football causes more disputes than any other sport. Why do you think that is?
Because it's such a great game, and a great game that we all love. We all have our rivalries. We all have our beliefs and thoughts on who should be playing. That was a terrible decision. Who should be in a squad? Who should make the next game, etc., etc. And that's what football is, and that's what it means to people up and down the country.
Again, looking at the statistics, 17% of people rather have permanently fallen out with people over what we call the beautiful game. And I can imagine with you obviously being a pundit, across ITV and Match of the Day and things like that, I can imagine you've had your fair share of fallout. So how do you think that affects, the average person? You can sit there and talk to people like Roy Keane, Graham Souness about some of their controversial decisions. Do you think that this football hotline will sort of fill a gap in almost being that external mediator, like a pundit that you'd see on the TV?
Yeah, it's on the BBC, not ITV, but it's yeah, I have fallouts, I have discussions, I have debates every single week. I give my opinion. People don't agree with my opinion, but that's fine. That's why it's so great. I mean, if you could spend time with me and Righty, I suppose, in the Match of the Day office on a Saturday afternoon and a Saturday evening and hear the debates and the rows and the arguments that we have, particularly over our football teams. And my team's Newcastle, his team is Arsenal. There's no secret to that. So particularly when they're playing, I mean, it does get heated at times, and I totally get and understand that.
Again, looking back at these stats, 42% of people have admitted to cramming before a game. Do you think that that's necessarily a shocking statistic, really, when a lot of people, especially casual viewers, will sort of just go to enjoy the game, knowing that almost half of people are, sort of doing their research before a game? Does that sort of surprise you?
No, I don't. It doesn't surprise me at all. I think because what's available now in terms of the data and the stats and everything else, whether that's online or whether you hear that on television now, I think because of all of that, that's available to everyone, not just professionals, and that gives us more to discuss and get our teeth into.
So you're taking this first call for the Athletics Emergency Hotline when it launches next Monday. What are the things that you can expect to almost be given? What sort of topics do you think you're going to get sort of questioned and moaned and probably shouted about?
I think it'll be all of those things. I think it'll be VAR. I think it'll be players' performances. Who should be in that first England game? Is it right that Gareth put him in the squad, or shouldn't it have been him? I think all of those decisions will be up for debate. So yeah, it's a wide range of things, but I would expect more of maybe what's happened over the weekend. Then certainly, because we can then next Monday we can then concentrate on the World Cup and looking forward to that first England game.
Yeah, again, you talk about the World Cup. Do you think that this hotline is going to see, a spike in calls as a result of, Gareth Southgate's provisional 55-man squad then being condensed down and who's starting, tactics, things like that?
I'm certain that's what it will be. I'm sure it'll be rammed. I'm sure it'll be heated at times. And that's exactly what it's there for, is to whatever you want to get off your chest, then you can give your opinion, and then you can get an expert's opinion by calling up.
And the final question I'll ask you then, Alan, it might be a little bit cheeky, but I'll ask it anyway. Obviously, one of the biggest discussions that people have, especially with Premier League fans being the greatest striker of all time. How do you feel that you are potentially the topic of debate and the topic of some of these fallouts?
That's great. That's them. Yeah, I mean, It was my dream to be a professional footballer. It was unbelievable that at the minute, and I say at the minute because that might change in years ahead, that I've scored more goals than anyone else in the Premier League. That makes me very proud that people may ring up and want to discuss Harry Kane or Erling Haaland or Mo Salah or whatever that may be, because I mean, I would have played football anyway, even if I didn't get paid to play it, because I love the game so much. So an initiative like this in the hotline, then the more people ring up, and if they want to talk about me, that's great. I love that.
It'd be music to your ears if you're just sat there going, "Well, I am fantastic. Yeah, just keep talking." Yeah.
Well, I'll let other people say that rather than me.
That's the best thing to do. Let the stats do the talking.
Absolutely.
Alan Shearer, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you for your time. Thanks.